Really nice little clip here of Marianne Williamson being interviewed by Katie Halper on her show about this whole force the vote thing and how none of the so-called progressive Democrats actually stood up for Pelosi. Let's take a look, then we'll discuss.
So you had asked me what I thought about today, right? Mm-hmm. And my answer is that I think today was a terrible day. It was a really terrible day, like historically terrible day. I think that the next 2 years in the United States are going to be very significant in American history.
Probably not in a good way.
What happened today was such a cave. And even
Indeed.
The people that we have been hoping they're going to go in there, how many times a day do we read their tweets? They're going there to fight for us. And we see their tweets of their new office door and they're going to fight for us. And today was a fold. It wasn't a fight. I don't know what day. What day does
when
the
does
fight
it start?
begin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good
How
point.
many days are you there before you start this fight? Because the first fight is with the corporatist Democratic establishment.
They completely bowed to them and Pelosi, didn't they?
This is nothing personal about Nancy Pelosi. She's the first woman speaker. I have great respect for much she's done in the past. But what happened today was grievous. And I don't think that the Democratic Party has 2 years to prove to the American people that they will present a genuine alternative to the Trump-type forces. They have, I think, 100 days. And what was voted for today is same old, same old.
Yeah, status
the
quo.
Same old that lost us seats
Yes,
in the
exactly.
House.
Rewarding Pelosi for being shit.
No company would thrive in this country that rewarded failed leadership the way the Democratic Party does.
Wow.
So I feel politically homeless today. I think a lot of people do.
I mean, let's be real. The Democratic Party is where social movements and people who actually try to fight for stuff go to die. But again, none of these so-called politicians who are going there to fight for us did anything. They completely, we'll start fighting at a later point. So definitely really appreciate Marianne Williamson's insight there. But I mean, just look at the t-shirts AOC's selling. Change takes courage. AOC, this is from her website. I mean, it's cool. Made in USA, union printed. I love that. But, okay, change takes courage. How are we going to actually get that change if you're not living up to the ideals that you espouse on these t-shirts that you sell? I mean, again, you say you support Medicare For All so we don't have people dying and going bankrupt because of our disastrous and completely immoral for-profit healthcare system, but what are you actually doing to advance that? You didn't engage in forcing Nancy Pelosi to bring it to the floor for a vote, did you? Doesn't really seem like you're being very courageous there, AOC. And then, I mean, Cori Bush, I had somewhat high hopes for her. She said, I survived sexual assault, police abuse, domestic violence, and being unhoused and uninsured. Horrible things that obviously nobody should have to go through completely. That's not unique pain I carry. It's one that so many of us live with each day. Today, take my seat in Congress to fight for a world where nobody has to endure pain. Okay, why were you not willing to hold Nancy Pelosi's feet to the fire to get her to come out and commit to bring Medicare For All to the floor for a vote so we don't have people that are uninsured? Okay, lofty rhetoric, but the actions of these people so far have been not courageous, as that t-shirt that AOC was wearing. Then here is AOC on her vote. And this is just two. I mean, this obviously extends to all of the other members of the so-called squad, or what might be more accurately labeled the fraud squad at this point, frankly, if we're keeping it 100 here. AOC on the floor on vote for Pelosi. In a time when the Republican Party is attempting an electoral coup, trying to overturn the results of our election, this is not just about being united as a party. It's about being united as a people who have a basic respect for the rule of law. What the fuck? And you're saying Nancy Pelosi does? Really, the same Nancy Pelosi who declined to impeach George Bush because she thought it would set a bad precedent, even though she knew about all the illegal shit he was up to with regarding the Iraq War, because she didn't want to set a bad precedent because the previous president, Clinton, had also been impeached. Yeah, huge respect for the rule of law coming from Nancy Pelosi. Get the fuck out of here. That's just a complete fucking... Sorry, that's a complete cop-out answer. And again, it's not that surprising, I guess, when we seen the true colors of some of these members of Congress. The fraud squad indeed. It says, our party should remember and prioritize the communities that delivered this house, which are poor and working class. Yeah, and you don't think those fucking people need health care right now in a pandemic? Those poor and vulnerable and marginalized communities especially have been especially hard hit in terms of the public health crisis as well as the economic crisis. You don't think those people, you don't think you should be fighting like hell to get them health care? I mean, for God's sake. Yeah, deliver material changes for working people. You think Nancy Pelosi is going to be the fucking best vehicle for that? I mean, for fuck's sake. Okay, that's just one. Let's see if we have others. Let's do Ilhan Omar. What if she's talking about fighting and courage? Let's see. Poverty is a policy choice. And then, praising Cori Bush, even though Cori Bush wasn't fighting for the working people when she voted for Pelosi. Pelosi's no friend of the working people, obviously. I mean, for God's sakes. And make good trouble on behalf of my district. Is good trouble voting for Nancy Pelosi without getting any type of concessions when Nancy Pelosi is a fucking corporate neoliberal hack who's always been ready and willing to do the bidding of the military-industrial complex and Wall Street and her corporate benefactors? That's making good trouble, Ilhan Omar. Same with Jamal Bowman. He also voted for Nancy Pelosi because she thought he's going to get some concessions from her around things like a Green New Deal, Medicare for All. If you believe that, I have a fucking bridge to sell you. I mean, there we go. Let's look at her personal page. So you see, they all talk a very big game on social media, and then when it actually comes to speaking truth to power with action, fall very, very fucking short. I'm sorry. Feeling very, very... Oh, man. And then Ayanna Pressley, member of the squad. I fight hard for you every day. Was that fighting hard when you just went along with all of the other so-called progressive members and the other establishment members in the Democratic Party and voted for Nancy Pelosi? Interesting. Very interesting. So, there you go. Oh, talk a big game, but when... All right, Rashida Tulip. Out of all the members of the squad, I had kind of the highest hopes for her, frankly. I'm kind of more disappointed in her voting for Pelosi than the other ones, actually. And let's see what she's saying. Okay, retweeting Ilhan. Georgia, we need you. The Republicans in the Senate are shamelessly undermining our democracy. How about, it was like 41 out of the 48 senators voted to override Trump's veto on the defense budget? That's not undermining our democracy, while they fought against that. They weren't there fighting like hell to get $2,000 stimulus checks. Bernie Sanders and a couple other ones are only ones willing to do that. I mean, for fuck's sake. All right, so whole dream. We're just getting started. Getting started off on the wrong foot, I would say, by voting for fucking Pelosi. I mean, Jesus Christ. And you're literally rewarding Pelosi's horrible strategy in politics. She's lost seats. The Democrats have a very slim majority in the House. Who's been leader during that whole time? Pelosi. Makes no fucking sense. Squad up. All right, so there you go. Say, the great unmasking of the fraud squad. And in 2018, I wouldn't be surprised if these other members who were elected at that time also voted for Pelosi. I know AOC did. So just more of the same. Politicians talking a big game about being fighters and being courageous and standing up for what's right, fighting for the best interest of the working people. But when push comes to shove, they do the complete opposite. So we need to really stop, idolizing these people and really make them bend to the demands of the working people, which are huge right now, because obviously they're not willing to do it. Subscribe for more content. Peace. Much love.